All right, Marauders. You talk. I want to see what you think about this book.
I don't think a lot about this book.
Yeah.
It was an easy read. It wasn't too bad. It does more for I think more for the Krakoan story than it does for King in Black, which I'm okay with. But basically, we see the actual OG Marauders team: Iceman, Pyro, Kitty, Kate, and Bishop. They're basically tasked to go to New York and save Storm and Cyclops, who have been nullified essentially. And while they're on their way there, they get hailed from a sinking ship that's being attacked by Knoll dragons. So they stop to help, and just as they're about to leave this sinking ship, Bishop, I believe, discovers that there is actually entire cargo hold full of basically people being trafficked. And so it's like as the boat is sinking, so Iceman lifts it up out of the sea on ice. They get all the people out, and can't remember. They transport them so they basically try to decide what they're going to do with basically these human traffickers. And they're like, hey, we were here to help you, and you're just going to let these people drown. And of course, the captain was going to be like, I didn't know they were on board.
Yeah. Well, like what was crazy about it is they asked him like, "What's on the boat?" And he's like, "Oh, it's just olive oil."
Right.
And then like Bishop heard Morse code, so he goes in and there's like hundreds of people in the bottom part of the boat, and he comes up and he's like, "You're a fucking liar! Like you were literally gonna kill all these people." And so yeah, they send him to like it's like the desert. There's something like the Saharan desert or something. Like that.
Yeah, it's the Namib Desert in South Africa. They basically walk them through a couple of Krakoan portals and leave them in there. And at one point, the guy's like, "Are you not even gonna leave us water?" And Iceman drops some ice cubes on the ground. He's like, "Here, but yeah, you can take as much as you can carry," which I thought was funny.
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
Then we get a really strange conclusion to all this. Basically, there's a woman named Nyoka who kind of is the de facto leader of this group of people, and it's like, listen, he says they're going to go drop them off in New Jersey before they go to New York, and she's like, no, you can't take us there. He was supposed to be taking us to Canada. Like, don't take us to America.
Don't take us to Jersey. Yeah,
I honestly can't blame him at this point. And so Kate basically has a telepathic conversation with Emma. It's like, listen, we've got refugees that we need something to do with. And so they end up taking them to Island M. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Yep.
They end up taking them to Island M, which is the island that we see in the Magneto one-shot, the giant-sized Magneto. And basically, they decide that they're going to let them live there?
No. Well, yeah. They live there until from what I took from it, until King in Black is over, so that they can get them to Canada. Because everything is, which I don't quite understand that. It's like, well, why isn't the island of M not being absolutely destroyed by symbiote goo?
Well, there's not really anything there, right? It's not really anything being targeted. It's just like there wasn't anything in the desert either. There's not really anything there.
Yeah.
The one thing though, honestly, this issue was just sort of, wasn't terrible, wasn't great. Art was fine. Story was fast-paced and easy to read. One thing that I think was good was Magneto's last line. He's talking to Nyoka, and she's like, "Why are you letting us stay here?" Yada yada. He says, "When the emergency passes, you'll be moved from this island to the country of your choosing, with assistance by my government. But there's something that I want from you. many stories will be written of Krakoa's might, but you may tell one of her mercy. So, this is obviously like Magneto. I think this is twofold. This is obviously like a story that Krakoa is good nation, but also this type of extending the hand from Magneto to humans specifically, I think is very much a growth statement about Magneto.
Yeah, I think the island of Krakoa has molded Magneto a little bit. I think it's shown him some compassion and he's seeing the inner workings of an actual nation, right? So he has a better understanding of what diplomacy is and what what it means to be one nation, right? You don't want to be a warring state. You want to be taken seriously, so you need to do certain things. The thing I will say about this issue, I agree with you 100% on everything else. Like, it was an okay issue. To me, what I appreciate about this is that it wasn't shoved in the middle of Marauders right now. It wasn't shoved in the middle of the run of Marauders.
100% agree. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if this had been like, oh, this is Marauders 18, I would have been like, what the fuck are we doing here? Because, we've established a storyline in the actual Marauders book, and I want to keep it that way. Like, I don't want, we go from, like, getting ready for the Hellfire Gala to, oh, we're on a boat and we're saving people from symbiotes. Like, that is the one thing I'm very appreciative of this issue, and I think they should do that outside of Daredevil, because I feel like Daredevil is kick-ass. Chip Zdarsky did it right. But
I will say that if there's anything to take away from this issue, that is the biggest point, because unless you feel confident enough and you're in a place where you can pull off a badass Chip Zdarsky move, just do this. And I'm sure that if every writer, if they could, would do that.
Right. And I wonder what plays into that.
Yeah, me too. So props to whoever made that decision, whether it was Jerry Duggan or the editor of the current Marauders book. And, that editor was like, look, Jerry wrote you an awesome book. Doesn't fit with where our storyline is. Just make it a King in Black Marauders. Don't make it number 18 or whatever.
Yeah.
Whoever's decision that was a very good idea.
On point. So kudos. I need to learn my names. Who's the editor at Marvel? It's like let's see.
Like, you mean like the editor-in-chief?
Yeah.
Is it
CB
CB Cebulski, yeah.
Cebulski. Like, good call, bro. Good call.
Either him or whoever, like Jordan White, I guess, who was the editor of the Marauders book.
Yeah. Either way. Yeah. Whoever made that decision, kudos, man. Like, y'all killed it, because it definitely, it just feels. I love it, because I don't have to be like, I don't have to put it in my collection and be like, and this is literally a bookmark, because it just doesn't fit. Like, it's like you can skip this one. It's like a divider, but don't skip it. It's a good story, and it, like you said, the ramifications that are set in the book by Magneto. Is that going to come back and bite him in the ass? We don't know. Probably, because comics are not nice to people, and at some point, let me rephrase. The comics are not nice to the X-Men, and they have had a ton of good luck since Hickman took over, and at some point they will fall. Like, we know it's coming. It's just a matter of time. So, I mean, we literally know. Like, in his House and Powers, the 9th Life, it still ends with the mutants losing. So, we'll see how this goes. But yeah, overall, it was an okay tie-in, but kudos to making it a number 1 rather than just sticking it in the middle of the Marauders run.